want to be Vanna?
If you would.
I can be Vanna.
So let's talk about the first block a little bit. Well, first of all, the block of the month, this is our biggest one yet. It finishes at what, 88 by 112 or something, so it's queen sized. The block, there's 12 blocks, they finish at 24 inches. Now, and remember, the finished and the unfinished always seems to confuse people. Finished is when it's in the quilt without the seam allowances. Unfinished is with the seam allowances, like this is unfinished. So at the end of the day, and that is one thing, I think this is a very well-written pattern, especially after what we went through last year, with all there's great pictures and diagrams. They say each block takes 4 to 6 hours. I hate when they tell me how long it should take. I like when they tell me how big it should be, but I don't like when they tell me how long it should take.
Now, I want to make a point. 88 by 100 and something, okay? When I chose it, if you look at it, there's 4 rows, okay? You get through the first 2, go ahead and border it up, get it quilted, give it as a gift for Christmas, finish your last 2, then you have another lap size. You can do it in 2 lap size. Okay?
And even the 3 blocks is a nice size bed runner.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So each block has a center square, he calls this the center square, and then the accent borders. Each one is like that. And as always, with a block of the month, we're trying to improve on our quilting skills. Mm-hmm. So this year, we're gonna master that 1/4 inch seam. We will also have 4 patches. There's half square triangles, which we are all very good at. There's quarter square triangles, flying geese, a little machine applique, curved piecing, which really had me paralyzed for a couple days, but I figured it out. And yes, there's even a little paper piecing in here.
Ooh.
So put your big girl panties on. We are going to tackle this.
Thanks, Mom.
This month was a special meeting with Karen being here to kick us off, but normally we're going to meet the second Saturday of every month. There will be a 9 a.m. Zoom call. And you may come in your jammies, I don't care, but the store opens at 10, so I have to be here, so it's 9 a.m. And then I will follow it up with an email, with a video. Actually, we updated the Zoom so we can record it, so if everybody's okay, then we'll send that out as a reminder to everybody, and I'll have some tips in there. And I will also, and I have that today, I have a cutting diagram to hand out to you by block.
Cool.
So, which is helpful. So you're free to follow along each month, or you may work at your own pace. It's up to you. The pattern is very well written. Like I said, there's lots of color photos and diagrams, and there's arrows that tell you how to press things too, which I always find helpful.
Yeah.
So it's a new year, it's a new project. Let's start with a new rotary blade.
Yes.
A new sewing machine needle, which we already talked about. Boutiques have a higher thread count, so you need a sharp needle. Some people do find 80-12 is what we usually use on cotton quiltings, but some people, like go down to the 70-10s. Check your the quality of your stitch and see what you like better. As far as thread, I am piecing with Aurifil. I do like Aurifil. It's 50 weight, and I'm using a tannish gray for the whole thing.
Do you sell the Aurifil here? Oh. Well, my eye level is at not looking up.
That's okay. I never look up either. My husband will tell you. So there's lots of piecing in each block, so we need to maintain an accurate 1/4 inch seam. So whether it's a special foot you're using or a special seam guide, there's lots of different little tools out there, but it is essential that we keep that 1/4 inch seam.
All right, one note, guys. This square right in here, right? It's set in here, okay? This right here is called fudge room, okay?
Yeah.
So don't freak out if your block, it doesn't come up to 12 and a half, or maybe it's a little bit bigger or something. She can help you, talk you through it, okay? No tears.
So this month, this block, there's a lot of 1/4 square triangles. And you will see in the directions, it says the blocks are oversized, so we square them down to the correct size. That is my favorite way of making things. It is the most accurate. So don't call me and say it's too big in the end. You have to square it down to the correct size. So with the 1/4 square triangles, there are lots of bias edges. So you have to be careful when you're pressing. You're going to press. You're not going to iron.
I just learned that, I didn't know.
Oh,
Yeah, because you can stretch it
Yeah,
going like that.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, and as any of you that has done this with me before, you know that my favorite thing for accurate piecing is glue basting. And this little bottle has a great tip on it, a fine tip for just a little bit of glue. So you take your quarter square triangles and you apply a little glue, just a little bit on the edge, hit your iron to it, take it to the sewing machine. What I do is I set all these up on my ironing board and I get them all ready, and then I go and chain stitch. Then when you are sewing these quarter square triangles, to me it's most helpful to use this 90-degree angle, feed it in that way, not this way.
Yeah, right.
It's just, I don't know, it's stronger.
Well,
So
my
just
little
feed them all
edge
in.
always
Doesn't
goes
feed into the
down.
hole then.
Right,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Or you have a mirror in there.
And then you have all these, I chain piece, so then you have all these little threads in between, and what I do is use this cute little tool, which uses an old rotary blade, and you just go through and separate each of them. Go to your
Oh, I
ironing
like
board
that
and
tool.
press.
I like that tool too.
That's a good
Yeah, I
idea.
have not
Yeah.
that one, I have something like
You
Yeah,
that.
I
could do
like
Merry
that.
Christmas
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, and I like this one because you're using your old blades, because
Yeah,
I don't
Yeah.
care how
good
far.
idea.
I don't, they sell sharpeners, those for rotary blades, those don't work. I have some I can give you. Let's see, so, as I said, you're going to make the quarter square triangles, and then you need to square them up. And we all know remember how to square things up, right? This is when you use a square ruler, and we talked about this the other day. I do like to use the 6.5 or the 7.5. It's just, even though you're squaring up to 4.5, it's just easier for me to hold on to. So you're going to, so for these quarter square triangles in here are 4, and they need to finish at 4 3/4. So you're going to take your piece, line up your diagonal line on your seam, and you're going to kind of eyeball where that 4 3/4 is around to see that you have it. And what you're going to do is, so half of 4 3/4 is 2 3/8. So that center point should be at your 2 3/8. And then you eyeball that your 4 3/4 there, trim, turn it around, same thing. Now you can use the edge at 4 3/4 and trim.
That's the best
And
way
do
to
take
get a
note
square.
that these quarter square triangles are larger than these. So these are 4 3/4, these are 4.5.
Oh.
But that's in the pattern, just follow it along, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Okay. Oh, and the other thing that I noted was that, and in the pattern it does say, you cut this square into the 4 pieces, but you're only gonna use 2 of them, or you're only gonna use 1 of them. I saved all those pieces, I put them in a baggie. I don't know, Karen called me frugal, but
You're very good.
that's what I did. I'm from Pennsylvania. So I just saved them all, quarter square triangles from 7.5 inch square, quarter square triangle from 5.5 inch square, so maybe later on in the pattern we can use it, won't have to cut it again, I don't know. Karen doesn't seem to think he uses them again.
Right. He could, I don't think he does, but if he doesn't, then you're gonna make a pillow jam, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Or I even looked up and you grabbed an extra one and made like the 2 inch square out of it, so.
Yeah.
Or these guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you press your seams open?
I did
Nope.
not on this one, but I learned last year with that quilt that
Yeah.
I really like pressing the seams open.
Okay.
Um, Yeah, and I too long armed for many years.
Those were big seams.
And I was always
Right.
worried
I mean,
with
those
pressing
were
open
big
that you
pieces.
couldn't mess
Right.
things together, but you can,
Okay.
especially if you glue based, you can.
So that glue base, does it rinse off then, so that, I mean,
It's in the seam, and yeah, when you wash the quilt, it comes out. That's what a couple people say. That doesn't bother me.
It doesn't get stiff then.
No. And if you are gonna open or press your seams open, you just run your finger along it to open it up, or I have a little tool actually that I got from Missouri Star that just little wooden thing that opens it up real quick, so.
Well, if you elephant footprint your seams to open it, that means like dressmakers used to do. You set your seam.
Yeah.
Elephant footprint. That's what we would call it when I was teaching the kids.
Now there's
Boom,
clappers.
boom, yeah, clappers. And then it presses open. If you use spray starch on your seam, that's another thing to keep your seam open. Don't use the spray starch until you have gone through and opened the seam, or it's gonna glue it together shut like that. Okay.
This is the cutting diagram for month 1, which is kind of helpful because you have like chunks of 3 yards of fabric and 3.5 yards of fabric.
Makes me dizzy looking at it.
And if, speaking, that reminds me of the kids, if you got in your kit, like the backgrounds are 3 yards and 3.5 yards, if you got two pieces, like Debbie, I rubber band them together, maybe one piece is 2.5 and the other one was, I did give you a 1/4 yard more just to kind of, there were a couple, Kathy, one of yours might have been like that too, and I don't think I said that the other day, so.
Do I have one on my bag?
Yeah.
I don't need one.
No, yeah, everybody please take a cutting diagram, no. So questions, that's all I have on the piecing. I can't tell you if it took me 4 to 6 hours, I don't know, I did it over a couple nights. Call me with any problems, except don't call me and tell me that it's too big because you didn't square it up, so. And just looking ahead, that the drunkard's path, I was really worried about.
Yes.
But they applicated, and then it's raw edge applique, and you machine quilted it, which you can do that, which is fine. But I did, when we get into that, I did teach myself the curved piecing. I'm very proud of myself. So. I will share that with all of you. That is month 3. Okay, any questions?
No.